What's going on, guys? It's Elias. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the C8 Corvettes, and specifically, I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on the 3,000 miles and about 6 months that I've owned this Corvette. Now, I am a first-time Corvette owner. The C8 Corvette was such a great value proposition that it did lure me over to the Corvette world. I am fully, I would say, a Corvette guy now. Love Corvettes to death. So this review is going to be showing you and telling you from the perspective of a guy that's always owned Hondas. So it's an S2000 I've owned for a long time, and right behind me I have my Civic Type R race car that I use as my track car and race car all the time. So from that perspective, I'm going to be sharing with you guys why I got this, how I've enjoyed it, the good things, the bad things, and everything in between. So if you want to watch that kind of video, be sure to stay to the end, hit that like button. If you want to see more of these videos, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate if you guys do that, so I know that there's support for this kind of video. All right, let's go ahead and first of all start the car and then take a little ride. I do want to point out recently that I got these hash marks, or I guess you call them hash marks, or I call them hash marks. I might be calling them wrong. And I got the rock guards, the extended rock guards. I think it really completes the look. Let me know what you guys think in the description or in the comments. In the comments, let me know if you guys like that or don't. I love, so it kind of flows. It's like a little dark there, and it's got the little black, and it's got the hood scoop, or the engine scoop, the rear scoop. I think I like that a lot, but that's not why you're here. You're here to hear this. It goes without saying, I feel lucky to even own this thing. This car, and I wonder where my phone went. There's no good place to put your phone. I'll find it later. This car blows me away every time I get into it. It's both the most comfortable and fastest car I've ever been in and I've ever driven at the same time. I'm not sure how GM did this, but kudos to them, man. They did a great job at creating an amazing all-around sports car. So I'm going to start with first the unexpected, things that I really didn't expect to see or get from this. Then I'm going to go on to the good. Then I'm going to go on to the bad. And then I'm going to talk about the future of this Corvette. All right. So the biggest thing that I never expected was to get in this thing and really feel like I'm in a luxury, comfortable car. This is more comfortable to be in, to drive long distance, on driver fatigue, seat comfort, steering comfort, suspension comfort. It's more comfortable than my 335D, and it's more comfortable it's more comfortable than my X5 35D. That thing drives like a truck a little bit, which is okay for what it is, but I can go for miles and hours without worrying about anything, without batting an eye. Like I've told you guys before, I've taken this thing on long road trips up to Vermont and New Hampshire, no problems at all. And in fact, very comfortable for both my wife and I. Now, my wife complained a little bit that the wall of buttons is not the best for her, but for me, this cockpit is the best thing about this car. One of the best things about these cars is the way everything is laid out for you. So that was the biggest surprise for me, how comfortable this thing really was. You'll have to excuse my radar detector. I have it on because I tend to go fast when I'm in this car. I don't need a ticket right now. So, I mean, nobody ever needs a ticket. Right, so the other thing that surprised me about this thing is how easy it is to go fast in it, right? Just in that pull that I did in the beginning of this little video, yeah, another C8 Corvette. A silver one. So, just in the little pull I did, I went over 100 miles an hour. That surprised me. How fast and how easy. No drama, no BS, nothing really getting in the way. Miles of traction. Not once did I feel traction being limited as I pulled away and hit 100 miles an hour from basically 2 or 3 miles an hour, basically from a stop. That was one of the most surprising things. It's just easy to live with, easy to go fast in, so easy to go down a mountain or canyon road and just kind of throw it around and just have fun with it. It's almost too easy, to be quite honest with you, to the point where sometimes it gets a little boring. Well, I gotta admit, even when I'm bombing down back roads and pushing it, and unless you start scaring yourself by the amount of grip it has, the amount of grip it has, you have, in order to scare yourself, you have to make it lose grip, and the amount of grip it has, it's just stupid to do that on public roads. Like, really dumb. Really dumb, so you can't do it. I really don't recommend you doing that. So, you're never really going to hit or break the limits on public roads unless you're pretty dumb. And the limits that it does have when you're on these mountain roads or back roads, man, it does it so effortlessly, right? And it just absorbs the bumps, and it's, there's no surprise, there's no issue, there's nothing really. I'm really surprised at how easy it is for this thing to do everything. So as I pull away from my gas station here, I just filled up. Yeah. The other thing that surprised me is when you're not driving like a hooligan, which is hard to do in this car. When you're not driving like a hooligan, it gives you 25, 30 miles to the gallon if you're careful. On my road trip, it got me close to 30 miles to the gallon when I went up to Vermont. That was very surprising. I did not expect a sports car that's this good and this fast to give me that kind of mileage. Now, if you're like me and you put it in manual mode every time, your mileage is not going to be as good because it doesn't go into V4 mode. I don't like the V4 mode. I don't trust it for longevity purposes. First of all, there's been issues with that. Everyone tries to turn it off because there's issues with that. And thankfully, GM gave you a very easy way to do it. The Corvette team gave you a very easy way to turn off the V4 mode. You put it in manual mode, and that's what the mode you should be in anyway. You want to control your own transmission and pull the shifters and everything. It's a nice C4 there, the Corvette. And as long as you're in that mode, it won't go into V4 mode. It does give you a weird, like an intake weird sound thing. If you don't have the radio on, the V4 mode, when it kicks in, you feel it kick in a little bit, and you also hear it. It's pretty seamless. It works very well, but I just don't trust it yet. The other thing that surprised me was the amount of attention it got. I mean, I knew I was going to get some attention, and I'm used to getting attention from my cars. When I first got the Civic Type R, everybody was all over the Civic Type R. Oh, what a great car! Rev it up. I want to hear it. So there was some attention there, but this thing is on a whole other level. I can't stop basically almost anywhere. I stop anywhere, and people always stop and talk, right? I stop at a parking lot. You get cars pulling in just to talk to you. There was a guy that actually has one of these on order. I was taking pictures, and I was like, oh, I have one of these on order. I'm getting it in like 6 months or whatever it is. And I'm like, yeah, is it as awesome as they say it is? I'm like, and then some. So it's a lot of attention. So those are all the unexpected things of the C8 Corvette that I really wasn't thinking about when I was getting this. When I was buying this, I wanted something that was fast. I wanted something that was very driver-centric, which this is. I wanted something that would, be exciting, and I wanted something that was going to be my sports car that I can drive wherever and whenever I wanted. This has surpassed those expectations and had additional unexpected benefits. All right, so let's head into all of the good things, all the amazing bits of owning this car for 3,000 miles and over 6 months has given me. So here we are taking a really sharp turn. It's just so planted with these tires. With the this is a Z51 Package and the magnetic ride. It's such a planted car. I'm currently in comfort mode because that's what you should be if you have the magnetic ride and you're driving on the streets like I am, especially these Pennsylvania streets. You're gonna want to have comfort mode on every single day because it just absorbs all the bumps, and even if you're going fast, it just takes care of all of the little undulations so you're not skidding off the road, right? So race mode in this thing really should be reserved only for the track or a very, very smooth pavement, because this ain't it. So, what other good things that I have? Well, obviously this thing's incredibly fast, right? But the way it goes about giving you that speed is relentless. It's just non-stop quickness and violence, right? Now, it's not as exciting as I wish it was, but man, is it fast. This thing picks up speed very quickly. Probably, if I had to rank, right, the best part about the speed of this car is the way it makes it, is that LT2 engine. Sounds great. Nice, good old push rod, sounding amazing. Could really benefit from a louder exhaust. This is the performance exhaust. But the transmission is a close second to what makes this car so good. Now, a lot of people disagree with me because they think that Corvettes, we're on train tracks here, Corvettes should only come in manual, right? But they sell a lot of automatic Corvettes. And this one, the C8, can only be had with automatics, for now at least. There's rumor that they may put in, or somehow put in a stick shift in here. I don't know how they do that. They might. However, this transmission shifts so rapidly and so smoothly. It's right up there with the PDKs. I did drive a Carrera 4S on the track once, a yellow one, and it was an awesome car, don't get me wrong. And I would say it is a better car. It is a better car, I have to say, slightly better than the Corvette in many ways. It's worse in other ways. But the transmission, they pretty much pair up very closely. There's very little into it, right? If you're going to compare the PDK to this amazing 8-speed transmission, there's not much there, man. There's just not much there. So I'm going to downshift a little bit here. I'm going to do a little speed run. Second gear. Let's drop down to 15 and floor it. Yeah. And then the brakes. Amazing. So these are brake by wire, so I was afraid that there's not gonna be that much brake feel. But you know exactly what's happening with the brakes. You feel it, you feel it in the seat of your pants. Not surprising at all. Amazing the way this thing accelerates, the way the transmission handles, the way the car handles itself. Incredible. The magnetic ride, I feel, should be on every single Corvette out there. If you're gonna buy a Corvette, get the mag ride. Unless you're gonna singularly only race this car, you're gonna roll cage it, you're gonna take all the body panels out and do a lightweight mod to it, and you're gonna put your own coilovers on it. That's the only reason why I would suggest not getting a mag ride, because this mag ride completely transformed this car. I don't know why, but all these animals seem to love this car too. That was a gopher I had to not hit, otherwise I would have lost my front lip there. So the suspension's amazing, the motor's amazing, the speed's amazing. It's nothing you guys haven't heard before. It's really incredible what they can do. Other positives. the way the driver-centric cockpit probably is my favorite part about this car. More than the engine, more than the transmission, more than even the looks. The looks are awesome. Everyone loves the way it looks. I like the way it looks. A few awkward spots that need to be, massaged over. Hopefully the Z06 gets it right. So the cockpit right here is probably the best cockpit, I think, for any sports car that's out there right now. Any. And some people say, what, Audi's interiors are great, etc. But for a sports car, for a driver-centric cockpit, everything is right towards me. Everything is for me. It basically only exists for me. It might as well take out the seat on this passenger seat, because nothing else really matters here. Going up this uphill here. Relentless traction, and just because everything is faced towards me, everything is in my eyesight, my line of sight. I don't have the heads-up display like the 2LT gets. I have the 1LT. I don't regret it at all. I love having the 1LT, and having everything right here in front of you makes everything so easy to just see by your peripheral. Your shift points, right? So the way I have my dash set, as soon as it needs to shift, it turns red. As soon as you see that red, you hit the shift, you're shifting perfectly. Can't get better than that. Alright, so, overwhelmingly super positive. I love the red seats, etc. I can't say enough good things. Bad things about this. I said I don't regret getting the 1LT, and I still don't. However, there's one big thing that's missing, and that's the rear view mirror. A lot of people say, hey, do you miss not having that rear view camera mirror? My answer is no, I don't miss it. I don't miss it at all. Except for when it's nighttime and I haven't washed or cleaned the back windshield or the back engine cover, and it's super dirty, and then you get a little bit of glare coming from some headlights, then your rear view is obstructed a little bit. Then it gets a little bit annoying. Other than that, people say that you have big blind spots, and you don't. You gotta set your mirrors right. So your left and right mirrors basically have to be almost as far out as possible. And you use your rear view mirror only to look back. So in the daytime, I've never missed it. At nighttime, when the weather's not the best, and there's things like that, maybe I wish I have it. But that's a small negative to have, right? For a very inexpensive car. I only paid $70,000 for this, and it's loaded up exactly as I want it. I'm gonna go ahead and turn around here. The turning radius is pretty damn good. Just so you know, with these tires, when you turn really tight, it will kind of shudder a little bit. Completely normal. Like I said, it's so easy to just build speed and go as fast as you really want to. I'm bombing down these back roads at triple almost speed limit, and I don't feel like I'm really doing much. I feel like I'm just kind of hanging out. Now I am part of the driving experience. I'm definitely involved. This is not like a playing PlayStation or something, but it definitely feels too good. I think that's the biggest negative. The biggest takeaway from this is, the biggest negative about this is, it's just too good. It's missing a little bit of character. It's not at all a little bit scary or a little bit exciting. I think if they made a much louder exhaust, it would have helped. But the steering is fairly numb. Don't really know what's kind of happening except for what the car's doing. The seat of your pants, yeah, it feels fast. It feels like you're going 1,000,000 miles an hour, right? Because you're being pushed to the back of your seat. But it's so quiet and calm in here that I've done 160 in this car. I've done 160 miles an hour in this car in Mexico, right? And I really didn't. Now I'm lost. Let's go right here. It's good to be lost in this car. I really didn't feel like I was going 160 miles an hour. That's the fastest I've ever been in any car on on the streets of Mexico. And I didn't feel like I was going that fast. I felt like I was just trundling along, right? Except that everything was moving super duper fast, right? So a little bit of that excitement's kind of missing. And I'm really hoping that the Z06 fixes that lack of excitement, that lack of like, holy shit, this is really, oh my god, I'm really going fast, and it's exciting. And you know, when I drive my S2000s, that's an experience, and it's about half as fast as this thing is. Just to go to show you, speed doesn't necessarily excite the senses. Like a good high revving engine, a responsive chassis, a responsive steering wheel, that excites the soul. This car, I think because they made it so good, so comfortable, so competent at everything, they took a little bit of the soul out, just a tad, just enough for me to notice. It's like a flat torque curve. I mean, it just pulls from any RPM basically. It's fast, so fast. But it doesn't scare you enough. That's probably the biggest thing that's missing. So, I've talked to you about my experiences. What's the future of this car? The future of this C8 Corvette, my C8 Corvette, is I'm likely going to have to sell it because I love the car. I really do. It's one of the best sports cars on the market right now. It's probably the best sports cars on the market for the money. Now, because of that, everyone wants one. Everybody wants one, and they're willing to pay ridiculous amounts for it. So much so that I'm getting offers all the time for mine for $20,000 or $30,000 what I paid for it. I paid $71,000 out the door. Out the door, I paid $71,000 on this car, and I only pay like $850 a month. That's nothing. That's nothing for such an amazing, I would say, supercar. So I'm gonna sell this. I am first on the list for the C8 Z06. It's supposed to come out next year. I hope it does because I really want one. And yeah, that's basically the future. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Super appreciate it if you do that. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.